Hello everyone and welcome to episode 7 of PowerApps for business users and consultants. In this episode we will learn about how to insert a Microsoft Flow within a PowerApp and be able to use it. What are some small things which you need to consider while doing it? We will look at all of it right after the intro. Okay, so let's jump right into it. As you can see, I've logged into my PowerApp Studio. We'll be doing everything from scratch. But before we actually start building the app and see how to insert a flow, let me tell you this. So one of the things we will look at is that you don't really have to connect your PowerApps to a data source. So what we are going to try is have some labels and fields within PowerApp, but not create a form which auto-populates field and not connected to any data source. For example, CDS, Dynamics 365, SharePoint, or whatever. But we'll rather create records or rows or lines via flow. Now, I don't know what's the business scenario for this, but I just thought it would be better to add a flow wherein we are not using PowerApps, Canvas apps capabilities, rather use Flow's capability of how it can help within this. Now, one thing I can think of, if let's say your server's down or the services of your cloud DB are down, maybe that's when you can use the flow with Canvas app. I'm not sure, but we'll try this one and see how it can help. So let's create an app. We will say Canvas app. And what we will do is say blank phone app. So we have not selected any, so it says start with your data or selected later. So we haven't selected start with your data. We have started a brand new, completely blank canvas having no data source. As you can see here, it says add an item from the insert tab and connect to data. So that's what it's trying to tell us. Now, let's look at it. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is my, let me name it as Flow App Screen. And what I'll do is insert label and insert text input. And what I'm going to do is, let me just name it as name, and where it says text input, I don't want a default, but I'll do hint text here. So if I'll say hint text, I'll say enter your name here. Okay, and then I'll just copy it so that I can actually, it wouldn't matter because I have to copy these things. So Control C and V and V and V. So I'm talking about 4 fields, so 4 labels I need as well. And that's that. And then I'll copy text input area. So that's that. Now we will change the names here. So this is going to be phone. This is going to be email, and this is going to be, let's say, city. Okay. Now quickly changing the hint text for all of them. So enter your phone here. And then enter your email here, and the last one, enter your city here. Now we've got that. Now we'll do quickly add a button and what to say, run flow. So we'll say that, and that's done. Now, so you can see I have not selected any data source here, but what we are going to do is add a flow. So basically what we do is go to actions, so that's an action item, and we click on flows to add a flow. But then where do you want to store this data? Now, one way could be that you do not have any DB, and what you do is store it in collections, which you cannot, there cannot be huge data in there. So collections is kind of a temporary DB if you want to perform actions from the data stored in the previous screen and things like that. But flow can actually push your data from this screen to anywhere you want. It can be SharePoint, it can be Excel, it can be D365, it can be CDS, wherever you want. But the flow must have that connector available. So I'm not saying connection of data source here, but I'm saying connector in flow. That's important. That's how you can probably push the data in the source. So what I've done, if you can see here, this is my OneDrive, and I've created an Excel here. I'll show it to you. So that Excel has got name, email, phone, city. So that's the 4 columns I've got. And what I'm trying to go and do is push whatever we submit in the Canvas app, push it here in rows. So that's what we'll try. All right, so let me just make it good because I don't like it blank. So I'll insert an image. Okay, that's right. So I've added that, center back, make all of these, change the color of the text to white. So I'm doing them as white and white and white. Okay, so that's done. There's a bit of a space between these two, so we'll move them a bit. Okay, also this one, so I'll do this as blue and this as white. So that matches my flow theme. Okay, so let me just quickly save the app. So app, I'll give it a name as insert flow, and that's a very absurd name, but that's what I can do or think of right now. I will quickly save it. So we've created just one screen where we've got basic fields, name, phone, email, and city. Now we will try and fill in data there and push the data to Excel. Now, you must have observed this, that I've not selected any data source within my PowerApp, but what I'm trying to do is, with the help of the flow action available in Canvas app, I will push the data from my screen to an Excel sheet. Now, I'm doing it via Excel sheet, but you definitely can push it to SharePoint, D365, or Dynamics 365, or CDS, whatever connectors are available in the flow, and we will look at it. Okay, so now we will click on action, and one of the options you see here is flows. So I click here, and it says one flow is available, but we'll not do that because then you'll not get to see the process from scratch. So I'll say create a new flow, and when I do that, it takes me to my flow login. Okay, and I will say PowerApps button. Okay, so I've just selected the first option available. I did not even look at what templates are there. Let's just have a look what templates are there. So I'll do it once more. So these templates are available. It says add an item to SharePoint and send an email. Click a button in PowerApps to send an email. SQL is there, push notification is there, approvals, add a Dynamics case after email approval, send a Microsoft Forms Pro survey as well. So a lot of templates are there. So probably, I think more than 20, but I haven't counted it. But I'm going to pick the first one, which is PowerApps button. So I click that, and then, so in this, the first step there, I don't need to do anything. It understands that it is coming from a Power App or Canvas app. So that's no inputs required there. So I'll now click on a new step. Now, what do we want to do? That's what you need to decide. So what we have done here is a screen, and we want to push this data to an Excel sheet. Now you've got this. I have got Excel Online Business, which is here, part of my OneDrive business. So I'll say Excel Online Business. Okay, and what do we want to do? Do we want to delete a row? No. Get a row? No. What do we want to do is add a row. So adding a row in Excel. So that's what we want. And we click here. Once we have clicked, it will ask us different questions. So I consider them questions. They might be triggers or actions or whatever. But basically the system is prompting me to answer some things for it to be able to perform this action, which is add a row into a table. We will talk about table as well, because I think that's important as well. In the beginning of the video, I did mention there are some small things which you need to consider when you're trying to insert a flow in your Power App. Okay, the first thing we need to enter is location. So we will select OneDrive here, because that's where my Excel is. Library is OneDrive as well. And the file, so it will, if you click here, it will show it to you like the dynamic thing, like Ask in PowerApps, but you actually need to click on this folder. So if I click there, I can go to my OneDrive folder and select my Excel. So PA data, which is open here, is my Excel. Now table is another important thing there. So I'll click on table 1, because I've only got one table there and it's named table 1. Now you might be thinking, why did not I rename table 1 to something else? Because Excel Web does not allow you to rename the table. So I would have to open it in my desktop application or laptop application, whatever it's called, which I don't want to do. So table 1 it is. Also about table 1, that's how you add a table. So you go to insert and just click on table. So for example, let me show it to you. So this is how you do it. Click on table. It will say the data for your table is in the following range, which means it's starting from A1. You don't want that because you also need headings of columns. So you'll always select this. My table has headers. And once you do that, it will show you this. And now you can name it anything. So like I'm doing right now, name mobile. So it keeps on extending the column headers, and that's it. So I'll just delete it because I don't want it. Also, you cannot add a table on top of this because it overlaps it. So we don't want that. So that's done. Now going back to a flow. If I click here, so because we are initiating the flow from PowerApps, you can see the first step is PowerApps. Now everything which is dynamic here would be saying Ask in PowerApps. So if I say Ask in PowerApps, you will see a sudden change here. It now says add a row into a table underscore name, right? So where name is actually the field in PowerApps, the label in text input 1, which we created, that's what this is. Now it was initially saying Ask in PowerApps. That's what it meant by that. Now if I click here in email, you still see underscore name, and we don't want our name to go to email as well. Now the thing here is, let me just jump onto phone as well. And this was the small thing I was talking about, that there are so many small things which might confuse a new user, and that's why I'm there. So if I click on city or anything, I do not see Ask in PowerApps option. So what happened to it? I don't know. Let's look at it. Okay, so basically what has happened, and I've not got the video, I'm just saying what has happened is you see on the right, there is this option called see more. So if I click on that, it again shows me asking PowerApps. So that's what I need to do. If I click here and say this, it now has underscore email. So I'll keep on doing this. So by default, it was see list, and that's where you miss that option, ask in PowerApps. And so you should always click on see more to be able to add the dynamic content. Now, don't think that you can add it like this. So I'm just typing it out, add to our row into our table underscore phone. So if you do it like this, it will actually type the exact same text in your Excel. So this to flow means that this is the value of the cell you're providing. So it's a static value it puts in to your Excel. So that's not right. Do not think that this can add as an expression as well. So if you go to expression and say this, click OK, it shows it's invalid. So that's there as well. So the only way to do it is ask in PowerApps. So we'll keep doing that. Remove it. Okay. See more. Click here. Ask in PowerApps. See, it scares me. Again, see more. Ask in PowerApps. Okay. So now we have added that. What we're going to do is save this flow. It's saving, and we will test our app now. So click test. I will perform this action and save and test. So while it's doing that, we'll go here, and actually we shouldn't have done that, but anyway. So we will now add PowerApps button here. So what I've just done is click on my button which I added, and on select of that button, I've then clicked on PowerApps button. This was the flow I want to run when somebody clicks run flow button, which is my name of the button, and then it will populate the data in Excel. Now you see the system is asking you, or PowerApps is asking you to complete this formula. Now it has picked up from the flow that there are 4 fields or cells available to be populated. So we need to do that. Now in that case, so you definitely should rename all these text inputs. I've not done this, but you know you have to. So let's do text input 1. And I'll just copy this. And then you have to say comma, underscore 1, comma, underscore 2, comma, underscore 3. And that's it. You close it. Okay, so that's the formula. And that's it. We will quickly save it. Save. We will not publish it. We will just save and test it. And try and test it. Okay. Okay. So I've entered some dummy data here in all the fields. Now I'll click run flow. While it's gray, it's performing the action. You can see the dots here on top as well. And once it's blue, that means it has completed the job. Sorry, not blue, but white. Okay, so let's look at it. So you can see under name, we have got this, email, phone, city. Okay, something went wrong there because I entered 678 in the phone. So let's see what we're doing wrong. Okay. What's this one? Email is email. This is phone. This is city. Okay. So I think it's the sequence. I'll do Control X. So the sequence is name, email, phone. We have said name, phone, email. So name, email, phone. And we will try it again now. Okay. Okay, so now it's correct. I've done that twice and it's populating as correct. So that's that. Okay, so I'll repeat it once more before we end this video. What we have done is created one screen, did not connect it to any data source, inserted some labels and text inputs, and inserted a button so that on click of that we can run a flow, and then we added a flow from here, that one. And now if I go to my flow, I have to, so the first step is blank, you don't need to do anything there. And then I've added a row into a table in an Excel because my table was in Excel. That's where I wanted the data to be populated. So then I've selected all the files and tables, etc. Then for the column headers, which are these, I just said ask in PowerApps and Flow auto populates things for you like this. That's the PowerApps language. And then I saved it, tested it. So if I go here, you can see it has been succeeded 3 times, and that's 3 times data in my Excel. So it's working fine. Now we did do a mistake in between because when I was writing the formula, because after you add it, you need to enter the formula here for your PowerApps. So you can see PowerApps button .run. So that's basically your flow name. And then you say .run, that's your flow function. And then you have to define the fields which you're taking. So text input 1, and that has to be in sequence. Like the column header sequence. So you have to map it with that. So my text input 1 is name. Text input 1_2 is actually email, and that's column header number 2, and that's why I have to do it in sequence. And column number 3 was phone, that is text input 1_1, and text input 1_3 is city, which is column number 4, and close the bracket. And that's it. That's all you have to do. If you have any questions, do drop in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, guys.